Okay, good evening. How you doing today? In this session, we're gonna study some verb tenses, past verb tenses, like simple past, past continuous, and past perfect. Okay, so in this session, we're gonna understand the English verb tenses with some examples. Okay, so let me tell you, Jessica, that the objective of this session is to understand, to analyze, and especially identify uh, the structure of grammar tenses when you want to describe some past events. Okay, so we're gonna move on to this one. As a first point, we're gonna see how to explore the nuances of past continuous tense usage in English. Let's see. So, as you can appreciate here on the screen, so we have the past continuous through practical examples. So, and we got a detailed explanation of the past continuous usage. Sorry. So as you can see there, the past continuous tense, and as you know as well, describe actions that were ongoing in the past. Okay. For example, I was studying when you called. Okay. So what does it mean? This example that this show an action that was interrupted. So one of the main usage that we have for continuous for past continuous is when you want to describe some actions that were happening in the past, but these one were interrupted by someone or something. In this case, as that example, I was studying when you called. You were doing something that in this case is studying, and the action that you were doing was interrupted by someone, in this case another person that calls you up. Okay, so that is the deeply explanation that we got for past continuous. Okay, regarding to its usage. Below that, we've got the comparison between simple past and past continuous. Let me tell you that when you want to narrate and you want to tell past events, so we need to combine the past tenses, okay, like past simple and past continuous. Okay, let's see. So while the past simple indicates a completed action, the past continuous emphasizes the ongoing nature of the action. Let's see an example. For example, when we say I studied versus I was studying. So when you say I studied, it's something that you did it in the past, right? So it's a completed action. But when you say I was studying, you're emphasizing, okay, the ongoing nature of that action that you were studying in a specific time in the past. Okay, so the duration, it could be the action that you were doing. Okay, what was happening there, so you were studying. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's move on to next slide that we got. And here, so what we have here, so when we have to use the past continuous in storytelling and context. Okay, so what is the role of the past continuous in narrative construction? As you know, as what you have learned in the previous classes about English, so in storytelling, you know that the past continuous create background information. Okay, such as let's see this example. She was walking down the street when it started to rain. So which sets the scene, right? So what is the scene? It started to rain. And then we have a little background about this scene, right? That she was walking down the street, okay? So that is the role. That is the role of the past continuous in narrative, okay? To give more details. In other words, to give more details of the main event. So that in this case, the main event is the simple past, okay? So then we have how to use the past perfect for effective storytelling. You know that storytelling is so important in the everyday life, okay? Um, we have implemented the past perfect can enhance, right? Storytelling by establishing sequences. How so? Let's see an example. He had left before I arrived. So what does it mean? That shows the order of events. Now I ask you, what was the first event in that example? Yes, the past perfect, okay? The structure that you're using, the past perfect. He had left before I arrived. Remember that when we combined the simple past with the past perfect, so we have two events, okay? Or you can say we have two action, action one and action two. So the earlier action, so when you want to describe the earlier action, this must be with past perfect, okay? And the main event or the main action will be described by using the simple past, okay? So on the right side, the information that we have in the blue chart. So we have the incorporating past simple for clarity. So what does it mean? So that when combining past simple with past continuous provides clarity, okay? As I told you before, so when I was explaining the role of the past continuous, especially in narrative construction, okay? For example, let's see another example that we have there. I was watching television when my friend arrived. So what does it mean here? What is the clarity? It clearly indicates the interruption, okay? So my friend interrupted the action that I was doing. And what was that? Watching television, okay? So below that, we have a general advice on using past tenses in writing. So when writing, ensure that the use of past tenses aligns with the chronology of events and the desired emphasis on action, continuity, or completion. So when we say chronology of events, it's the same that I was explaining before. Okay, if you got three actions, let's suppose that you got three actions. Between two of them, one of these one occurred first. So, and we have for those actions that occurred first, we're gonna use past perfect. And you need to identify which is the main event. For this one, we must use the simple past, okay? And when we want to create background information about the main event, so we can use the past continuous. That makes sense? Okay, let's move on. Okay, here we're going to explore the intricacies of continuous past forms, okay? So as you can see on the first chart that we have in the left side, the past continuous illustrates actions that were happening at a specific time, okay? So this is just to understand the continuous actions through examples, okay? So we're gonna use the past continuous as it said there and, to illustrate actions that were happening at a specific time, as I told you before, right? Let's see an example. They were playing football at 3 p.m. yesterday. So what does it mean? That's one. It's specifying the timing. What is the timing? 3 p.m. and was yesterday, okay? Now, what are the nuances of combining past simple and continuous form? Well, using both forms in a sentence can clarify context, okay? So something important, don't forget, please, keep in mind, using both forms in a sentence can clarify context. Let's see an example. While I was reading, the phone rang. So what does it mean? Or what's that sentence indicate? A simultaneous action, okay? So you were doing something that in this case is that you were reading, and this action was interrupted by another action. What was the other action? The phone rang, okay? Now, when we want to express the duration with past perfect continuous, let's see. The past perfect continuous, such as I have been studying, emphasizes the duration of an action up to a certain point in the past, okay? So that's another grammar tense, the past perfect continuous, and here the main focus is on the duration of the action, okay? As the example we have there. I have been studying. It's emphasizing on the duration of the action, okay? Let's move up. Let's move on to next. Okay, let's see how to understand the past simple tense with practical examples and context. Okay, here we have the first one. We're gonna understand the importance of past simple tense, okay? So what does it mean that when we say the importance, you know that this grammar tense is crucial for expressing completed action in the past, emphasizing the time they occurred. How so? So why do you think that past simple is so important? Well, remember that this grammar tense describe the main event, okay, in the past, and this event they are completed, okay, in the past, sorry. And when we say emphasizing the time they occurred, remember that when we use in simple past tense, we use some time expressions, and we have some keywords like yesterday. So, and this word yesterday can be combined with some period of time. For example, yesterday night, yesterday evening, okay, yesterday morning, and so on. We also have last, and this one can also be combined with period of time, like last year, last month, last week, okay? And we also have ago, 2 days ago, 2 years ago, a week ago, and so on. So they are a specific time expressions in the past, and they are used with simple past tense, okay? Now let's see the definition of past continuous and its applications. As you know, as you have learned in the previous courses, and as I told at the beginning of this session, that the past continuous tense is used to describe actions that were ongoing in the past, right? Often providing context to the situation. So you have the main event, and you have to provide context to the main event, okay? So the background must be described by using past continuous. Now let's see the role of past perfect in storytelling. As we said before, that past perfect tense illustrates actions completed before another past action, enriching narrative depth and clarity. Once again, remember that when we said that the past perfect illustrates actions completed before another past action, so that the first action that occurred was the past perfect, and then we have the main event or another past action that was described by the simple past, okay? I would like to know if you got some questions so far. Okay, very good. Let's continue. So let's see how we're gonna study or master the use of past simple in narration. Crafting compelling narrative using past simple, okay? So this one, when you have to use past simple effectively, that this allows for engaging storytelling, okay? Capturing readers' attention with clear timelines. So you have to get a structured the sentence, okay? Especially when using this grammar tense, okay? So let's see, when using exercises or when working on exercises for past simple proficiency, remember that practicing past simple through exercises threatens understanding and usage of these essential verb terms in various contexts, okay? So what does it mean? I recommend you that if you want to understand better this grammar tense, so you need to practice a lot, okay? Because remember that practicing exercises can threaten the understanding and the usage of these grammar tenses. Also, remember that saying that says, the more practice, the more you practice, the more you learn, okay? Good. So, and then we have that integrating past simple with past continuous and past imperfect forms enhances narrative complexity and coherence. As I told you in the middle of this, when I was introducing the past grammar tenses, remember that when you want to narrate an anecdote or a past event, you want to describe it. So we have to use not only simple past, we have to use simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. Okay, so we have the four most common past grammar tenses for describing past events. Okay, and also don't forget that identifying frequent errors. Just give me a minute. Okay. As I told you some seconds ago, don't forget that identifying frequent errors in past simple tense applications can aid learners in mastering its correct usage in context. As I told you before, you need to practice a lot these grammar tenses to a better understanding of themselves, okay? Let's move on. So now let's make a general overview of the past simple tense applications. First one, we have the broad application of past simple tense, past simple in English, right? So what does it mean? That this grammar tense finds broad application in everyday communication, emphasizing completed actions or events. You know that the simple past is used every single day in our life, okay? Because days are passing, okay? So we need to describe the past event, the things that happened yesterday, okay? So also we have the past continuous as a complementary tense. So what does it mean? That this grammar tense, which is past continuous, complements the past simple by providing background context for actions that were ongoing, okay? And the past perfect, sorry, and the past perfect enhancing clarity in sequence, okay? So remember that the past perfect is the grammar tense that enhances clarity by establishing a clear sequence of events in a narrative, okay? Crucial, that is so crucial for understanding, okay? Any questions so far? Okay, good. Let's move on next. Now let's see how to clarify the past perfect tense and its importance in storytelling. Okay. How can we understand the past perfect tense clearly? I mean, what do you know about this grammar tense, the past perfect? So how do you understand it clearly? Well, as you know, the past perfect tense, this grammar tense is used to express actions that were completed before another action in the past, okay? So that's another action in the past is the past, simple past, okay? Establishing a clear sequence of event in storytelling. Remember that we have to be very specific when narrating a storytelling, okay? And as I told you in the middle of this session, the role of past continuous in narrative is to describe ongoing actions in the past, which can be set as seen or indicate background information within a narrative context, okay? Let's continue. So let's see that to illustrate the past perfect with some examples. Let's see this one. She had finished her homework before dinner. So what does it mean? So this sentence shows the completion of an action prior to another action, crucial for narrative flow, okay? Don't forget that. In that sentence, she had finished her homework before dinner. So we have two actions, okay? Two events. Which of these one occurred first? Okay, let's see. Let's continue. The past continue in the same setting in narrative. As you know that, let's see an example. As I was reading, I was reading when he called. So this one provides context, allowing readers to visualize the unfolding story, okay? So we got, I was reading, okay? I was reading a book, something that is an ongoing action in the past, but this action was interrupted by a man who called me, okay? Good. Now, some insights into the significance of past perfect. As you know, the narrative sequencing in past perfect. So this grammar tense helps to create a timeline of events, clarifying which actions occur first in a sequence. It's the same that I was explaining to you in the middle of the session, okay? And otherwise, we have the past simple, which is provide concise and direct information about completed action. Essential for effective storytelling. So why? So that's why that they are called the main event, okay? Main event must be described with simple past, okay? And by using the past continuous, writers can create an immersive experience, engaging readers with vivid descriptions of ongoing actions, okay? And understanding how various tenses interact within a narrative can significantly improve writing skills and reader comprehension. So something important, I'm gonna refresh your mind that remember that if you want to improve the way how you narrate an anecdote or a personal experience, a past event, all those things that occurred in the past, we need to use these four past grammar tenses that I mentioned before, okay? Which are those? Past perfect, past perfect continuous, simple past, and simple past continuous, okay? Okay, Jessica, this has been all for this session. Let me tell you that on the platform, in the module document, you will find the session number 3 that it's related to this one. You got a lot of exercises there to be complete it, okay? Practice, don't forget the saying that I said, the more you practice, the more you learn, okay? And on the module enlaces, you can find different types of links, okay? Additional information that will help you to understand these grammar tenses, okay? And something important, don't forget to do the task, okay? Go on the module tareas and you will find the session 3 exercises about these grammar tenses, okay? Don't hesitate. If you got some doubts, you can ask me, okay? And I will be helping you, okay? If no questions, that will be all for today. Bye-bye.